And this is connected as well with astrology and Uranus being number 8 and being the planet of rulership over Aquarius, which we're supposedly in the Aquarius age. So this is like an age of regeneration, if we could think of it in that sense. And that's one of the reasons too why, for example, they say Uranus is connected with sudden happenings. Well, it's not that there are really sudden happenings per se, but it's because Uranus represents that which is subtle, the Eoi, the leaf of life. And it's just like a tree, and it's seemingly dead, and all of a sudden you go out and its leaves are coming out, or its leaves are out. You go, wow, that happened. How did that happen? And just overnight, the leaves come out and they're there all of a sudden. So it does seem sudden. It does seem, and it can be unexpected, but it need not be unexpected, because we can develop in our subtlety to perceive these things beforehand. And of course, that takes the faith as discipline and growing in us and all that type of a thing. This time of regeneration of the foundation, so it's very good. It's a very good time. And recall this time of regeneration of the foundation, 18, the hack, the darkness, recall the womb of mammals and of woman. And the womb itself is dark. And growth occurs in darkness. All growth comes out of darkness. That's what we're told in Oahspe. All growth comes out of darkness. Because no matter what, no matter how high we get, recall there's always somebody higher. So, we go forward and we discover, hey, this would be a better way, and that's even more greater light that way and all that. And so we grow into greater light all the time. That's eternal progression, eternal resurrection. And not only just onward and upward, but outward in comprehensiveness, but also inward, in depth, and stability, and serenity, and in anchorage. All these things we can look forward to, and so we can perceive these subtle things. One of the things that a prophet does is perceives these subtleties and watches these cyclical events. And the cyclical events are just only one way to prophesy. There's other ways to prophesy besides the cyclical events, but the cyclical events is one way to prophesy. And one can prophesy according to cyclical events depending upon essentially the refinement or coarse-grainedness of the prophet himself. How subtle, what's the subtlest that he can or she can perceive, and what's the granular size of this. With Uranus, with 8, with Eoi, it's very subtle, generally speaking. Eoi is deep inside. But we can find Eoi, we can find the center, our center, we can find the leaf of life within ourselves, and we can be regenerated. We can be regenerated. We can regenerate the foundation. Well, and do we know even what that foundation is? And that's one of the reasons why we look backwards, why we develop our S, why we look and of all these previous 11 entities, these 11 realities that preceded man, and see what they are. And that way, if we can understand the foundation and understand its regeneration, we partake in that according to whatever degree that we're aware of it. And so in other words, we can consciously partake of it, but we also subconsciously partake of it, or even unwillingly partake of it, because it's a part of the flow of creation. It's actually a synthesis of creation, if you want to look at it that way, because number 6, Hoi, and Samoin, it represents music, it represents flow, it represents the ideal. Well, all right, there's 3 groups of those. Boom, boom, 6, 1 through 6, and then 7 through 12, and then 13 through 18. And so that third set of 6 represents, in a sense, that whole set there represents synthesis. A synthesis of the flow of the ideal that comes out of the unseen, of the foundation. All that is involved with number 18. So it can become very involved, very complex, very detailed. Connections that we might not even have perceived before. It's there. There is so much in the Tablet of Samoin as an explanation of the creation, of the reality that is. And it's not like the angels were ignorant of these things. They understood a whole lot of this stuff, and there may be stuff that more depth, even beyond and heights beyond what they perceived when they gave us this tablet, but they gave it to us as an understanding of reality, of understanding of what's going on around us. And so we can take advantage of that to understand that for the sake of Jehovah, for Jehovah's sake. That's the highest, best thing to do. And how Jehovah would like for you to apply it in your life as you go forward in his service, ideally. Now, you could go forward with this information in the service of self, but that's ultimately going to lead to your, it's going to fall aside eventually, and a person will return to the all-light, to the all-good, to the all-pure, to the fountain that never errors, who is Jehovah the all-person. So, we can get regenerated with number 18. Yes, we can get regenerated. We regenerate the foundation. But with 19, insofar as looking with the foundation, as far as the foundation is concerned, is the sustainment of the good. We're sustaining the good that comes out of the foundation. And so that may involve a lot of different things. And essentially how it looks to man is it looks like evil. It looks like it's going against the grain of the way that life should be going. And yet it's not really evil per se, but maybe more like the last of the things to get gathered, perhaps. One way that we can think of this is if you hold hands with someone on either side, and you're holding hands, and you're in a long line, and you go dancing, and you start whirling around. In other words, the head person goes around like this, and the outer people follow out so that they arch out like in a spiral behind that person. Then the person on the outside here feels like he's getting whipped, or she's getting whipped along, pulled along, faster than he or she can even move. And if they're strong enough and everything, they could fly through the air and holding on. And we all know this from riding on a merry-go-round or through other means.